learn a small topic called microsporogenesis. So what exactly is microsporogenesis? From this term, we should somewhat figure it out that it is a production of microspore. What exactly is a microspore? Where is it produced? How is it produced? That is what we are going to learn. Before all that, we should concentrate on this word, that is sexual reproduction. So you all know any type of sexual reproduction requires gametes. And what are the male and female gametes in a flower? Female gamete, you know, is the ova. Male gamete, some of you think is the pollen grain, but it is not. Male gamete is instead a nucleus. This nucleus inside the pollen called as a generative nucleus. So we'll come to that, and we will know that it is something called as a microspore that becomes the pollen. Microspore which matures to form pollen. That is why we are learning about production of microspore. That much you should know. So let's learn microsporogenesis. First and foremost, let's have a look at the structure of a flower. You know petal, sepal, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium is the male part. Single units of androecium are called as the stamen. That much I hope you know. So what are the parts of a stamen? Stamen consists of a filament and an anther. Filament is just a stalk which is of not so much of a significance to us as of now. So we'll focus on the anther. Anther, as we take a cross section like so, you see structure like this. Alright. So let's zoom in and see what all are there in the anther. As you can see, anther is not a single lobe structure. Instead, it has lobe number 1 and lobe number 2. So, 2 lobes are present on the anther. Each lobe, let's say this is one lobe and this is one lobe. So, I'm cutting it across so that you know which all are the lobes. Lobe number 1 and lobe number 2. Each lobe has small compartments like this. And since these compartments are called as theca or theca, so since there are 2 in each compartment, we call our anther to be dithecous. They'll ask you why are anthers called as dithecous. It is because each lobe has 2 theca in it. That is the reason, right? Now moving ahead, what are we focusing on? We are focusing on production of pollen. Why production of pollen? Because that contains our male gamete. Since it contains the male gamete, we can call pollen to be the gametophyte, isn't it? We have learned in grade 11 that anything that has the gamete is called gametophyte. So pollen grains therefore are the male gametophyte. Please keep that male gametophyte. Keep this in mind, please. What is the male gametophyte? The pollen grain. Because it contains the male gamete. Remember that, please. Alright, continuing. Where is this pollen grain produced? Let's see. So, when you look at this structure, the bilobe structure, we need to have more clarity. So, we'll go to the next picture. What all do you see in the picture? You see that there are so many layers that are covering whatever is inside. Alright. So, whatever is inside also has a name. So, let's have a look at it. I'm zooming in so that you can see it properly. It is this same structure that we have enlarged. Alright. In the core of it, in the innermost core, is a tissue called as sporogenous tissue. This tissue is like any other normal tissue which has the ploidy of 2n. If you're not very clear with what is meant by ploidy, please comment below so that I can explain it in the next video. Alright. So you have some tissue. Obviously, tissues will have cells like so. All these cells have the ability to form pollen. Alright. All these cells have the ability to form pollen. So, we call those cells as pollen mother cell. Because it has the ability to become pollen. Alright. So, wait now. Now, what all covers it? What covers the sporogenous tissue? It is covered by a nutritive layer called as tapetum. tapetum. Alright, it is covered by a nutritive layer called tapetum. Other than this tapetum, there are three other layers also. You can see there is an epidermal layer, this one. Then next layer is the endothecium layer. Then you have middle layer, this one. All these layers are covering the sporogenous tissue and the tapetum. All these have protective function. Tapetum has nourishment function. Another NCERT question. If tapetum is not developed, the pollen grains will not be produced. Why? Because it is the tapetum that gives nourishment. Please keep that in mind. Alright, so you know the structure of it. 3 walls for protection, 1 layer called tapetum for nourishment. Inside is the sporogenous tissue. Now, sporogenous tissue and tapetum, this part, like I'm taking this part. This part is called as the microsporangium. Why? Because it is what will produce the microspore. I hope you understand what is microspore. Microspore is a structure which will form the pollen. Okay, microspore is similar. Imagine some sort of cells in your mind. Okay, these are spores, tiny spore-like structures which matures to form pollen grain. So those are going to be made here, isn't it? That's why we call this part as microsporangium. So how many microsporangium are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 microsporangium are there. Alright. In each of the microsporangium are your sporogenous tissue covered by tapetum. That much you should be clear. So these are all your microsporangiums. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 microsporangiums are there, inside which microspore will be produced. Who can produce? The cells of the sporogenous tissue, which is also called as pollen mother cell. Now we'll go to the process. What happens to these cells? These cells undergo a type of division called as meiosis. Alright, I hope you know the difference between mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is the equational division wherein if only one cell was there like so, if there was a cell like so, after mitosis it will become 2 in number with the same number of chromosome. If the chromosome number here is 2n, here also 2n, here also 2n. What kind of division is it? It's called mitosis. The sporogenous tissue cells or the PMC, pollen mother cells, are not undergoing that kind of division. Instead, it is undergoing another type of division called as the meiotic division. What happens in meiotic division? In case of meiotic division, if there is a cell, if it undergoes meiotic cell division, you get not 2 cells, instead you get 4 cells. All the 4 cells will have half the number of chromosome as the parent cell. That kind of division is called as meiosis division or meiotic division. So which one is this undergoing? Which one is this? Name of the cell is this is the name of the tissue, sporogenous tissue. What is the name of the cell? PMC, pollen mother cell, otherwise called as microspore mother cell. Both are one and the same. These cells are undergoing what kind of division? Meiosis. All this needs to be very, very clear. When it undergoes that, definitely you will get 4 cells, isn't it? So this is which cell undergoing this? Our PMC is undergoing. What is PMC? Pollen mother cell is undergoing meiosis. So you get 4 cells, isn't it? All these 4 are called as microspores. Nothing but microspores. Microspores. Since there are 4 in number, we can call them as microspore tetrad. That's it. That the entire process is explained. That is it. Alright. So how can we define it now? Can you define microsporogenesis? Microsporogenesis is what? Production of microspore from pollen mother cell through meiosis. These are your keywords. This process is called as Microsporogenesis. I hope it is clear. After microsporogenesis, end of it, what do you get? You get microspore. Microspore matures to form pollen. Structure of pollen we will cover in the next video. Thank you.